All right, we're live with you Thursday here, seventh inning stretch. That is Josh Edwards, people over there. He's doing it all. He's driving babies. He's making the trip to Indiana. Can you believe it? That's where he's headed right now. He's over there. You should stop by on your way back. Go to Oklahoma. Go to the College World Series. Josh, you can do a lot down there with it. Edwards is with me. He'll be with us a little bit. Hopefully, we'll get Logan Stone on as well. Got a lot to get into. Soto, I want to talk a little Skubal with you guys, kind of see the comparisons with him along the way. And, of course, we'll do a little walk-off trivia and a little bit of my own trivia along the way here. So, Edwards, Darren Breyer here with you. Let's get it started. All right, Edwards, you're making that trip, like I said, a guy that's making the trip up to the plate and a little struggle early. Only 2 months. I'm not overly concerned. Kind of a fun topic. What's up with Soto? Is there anything the Mets should be worried about? Logan brought this out about the hustling. We saw some signs from the fans this week regarding that. He's right now 34 runs, 45 hits, total of 8 home runs, 25 RBIs. He still, Josh, has the on-base percentage with the 352. Average, though, only 224. Obviously, this is 2 months into a 15-year deal. But with that said, a little buyer's remorse the first 2 months. What do you think with the Mets and Soto start here?
Man, with this whole ordeal going on, I'm not really sure what to make of it yet. All I know is I feel like Soto feels like he messed up, and now he's dragging his drawers because he's unhappy that he went to the other side of New York. And we'll see what happens. I mean, this could all turn around. Winning heals everything. The team's still playing really well.
Yeah.
So maybe if he just heats up, things will change. He may just be slumping. We've never seen him slump before. This is the first time, or at least I can recall him having these kind of numbers. So we'll see what happens. I don't give up on Soto. He's a generational player. He should be fine and figure it out. But if it doesn't work out with the Mets, somebody else will pay for him.
It's kind of weird if you look at his stats, right? You go with Washington, goes 292, 282, 351, 313. And then 2022 comes and he kind of has that trade with Washington to San Diego. And he basically bats, kind of 250 between both. And then with the Yankees, obviously bounces back last year, but 288, and he's down to 224. I wonder, he hasn't had a 300 season in about 3-4 years here. So be interested to even get that average back up for me. The on-base percentage, the walk is one thing. But, man, you got to hit when you're that 3-hitter. You got to hit for power. You got to hit for doubles. And getting on base is obviously really, really important. But when you sign somebody that deal, those doubles and home runs need to come.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're in the position now where you almost need to make him the leadoff hitter or the double leadoff, just to try to, because he still gets on base, so you can have other guys bring him in.
Lindor has been so good for them at leadoff, though, this year in particular. Maybe bat him second and behind Lindor more often. I know they've done that a little bit. Yeah, no, they got to get him. So, concern level 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Where are you at with Soto?
2.
I'm the same thing. I'm a 1. The only concern to me is when you play in New York, the more time you go on without delivery, the more they're going to let you know. So that will be interesting. And he delivered last year for the Yankees, but now he decided to go to the crosstown rival, basically, right? And that puts a little heat on you too. So we'll see where he lies. I'd be curious if we're at the All-Star break, what his numbers are looking back at this episode. When we do this thing in July, I'll be like, is he at 250? Is he still in the 220s? So to me, that would be kind of the interesting talking point for Soto in the Mets moving forward.
Let me call it 262.
I agree.
262 will be the average. He'll have 17 home runs and 68 RBIs.
So
78 RBIs.
That's and Aaron says he's playing better than Lindor did his first season. All true. That's the first part of it. So Lindor, I feel like with Lindor and Soto, you just got to stay at that second half. They're 2 games behind Philadelphia, not in a bad spot at all by any regards. They're not in a bad spot. So I feel all right with it. Logan Stone jumping on here with us as well. Logan, we kind of just talked about Soto, me and Josh. Um, he's on what do you think of 1 to 10? What's your panic level with him?
Oh, come on.
Josh said 2. I said 1. Are you below that? 0.5? 0.
I'm sorry, you guys cut out on me for a second there. What was
No,
that?
no, you cut out on us.
Are you Soto? Where are you at, Soto? 1 to 10. Any worried about him at all? Any like you kind of
Any
wrote a text like worry. Like, are you kind of what's up with him? You wrote this long text to me and Josh about a week ago about how you kind of didn't like some of the stuff with it, and I was like, all right, well, maybe Logan's always been a Soto guy. And reading through that, I'm like, you saw some maybe the start of a crack, but I think it's so early in the deal, nobody's gonna like go crazy about it. But I don't know.
right.
Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not necessarily worried. I think he's just kind of, well, I guess I should be a little bit worried. I think he's just screwed up in the head a little bit. Um, maybe
From
I'd
what though?
say,
From what? He just got a 15-year like 750. What would be screwed up from?
just hearing the story about how he was forced to kind of, I mean, his family kind of forced him to take the deal with the Mets, and like this isn't just like, oh, this is Yankee fans. This is Michael Kay talking, and you know, I think, I think that kind of screwed him up a bit, where he really wanted to be with the Yankees and then didn't end up there. So, am I worried to the point where, like, I don't know what I would be worried to the point of, but I guess I would be a 3, a 4, maybe, of worry. I mean, he'll love the Mets, but he's not going to love that they're going to suck.
Oh no, I just think it's kind of interesting about when you say I guess when you're talking about Soto and like that story that came out, it does feel like about him not wanting that team. That kind of reminded me think of A-Rod when he signed with the Rangers. I was like, there's no way A-Rod really wanted to sign with the Rangers in
Yeah.
that regard there with it. But we'll see. Oh yeah, he looks sad in Queens. What was the answer? I don't think he think he looks sad. I just think it's so early on, but it's just kind of an interesting topic when you see the year move on. Like Josh, you said, just win ball games. Just win ball games. That's all that's going to matter at the end of the day when you're Soto there with it. Just win. Just win. Uh, but the average thing is an interesting trend for me. He still has it's not even a bad thing. I just noticed the average is like, I'll be curious if he ever gets above 300 anytime soon. It's been 4 years since he got there. So that'd be the only thing I kind of look at with Soto there. But the Mets are still playing good baseball. And he's not even playing well. So if I was a Mets fan like Aaron over here, I'd be more than confident that they're going to turn it back around. So any final thoughts on that, gentlemen?
No,
No,
not
sir.
really. Nah, nothing I want to make public.
That's always a good thing. Keep that to the vest there with it. Josh, did you see the game Skubal through on Sunday, or at least the highlights of it? He
The
went,
complete game.
yeah.
He needed that after the Cardinals beat him up. So
Got to get that in there. Maddox, he goes Maddox style, goes less than 100 pitches, throws 100 and like what, 2 on the final pitch to get the strikeout.
102.8.
Something crazy like that. Basically, round that up to 103. The game was efficient, 13 Ks. His strike to ball ratio was incredible. And when you're the Guardians or you're anybody against the ace, you're going to run into a buzzsaw like this. But I watched that pretty much that whole game, and the Guardians just had the approach as they were going to attack him early, and he obviously was able to get them out early. He saved a ton of pitches, didn't even have to get like crazy strikeout numbers early in the game. He was able to kind of sustain that early and then kind of finish strong late. It got me thinking about like comparisons with this guy. Like obviously the Tigers have the best record in the American League. He's pitching unreal as we saw, but I don't know what Edwards. Is there a name that he kind of reminds you of when you think it when you see him?
not yet. He's I can't comp him to one guy. He's almost a blend of 3 or 4 different guys that I can think of. He's so young. I still don't even think he's all the way polished and figured out who he is and what he will be as a pitcher in the long term. So I'm honestly not comfortable even trying to comp him. I want a couple more seasons to see what he really turns into once he's fully matured and he's gained total control over everything.
What do you think, Logan? You're muted.
Who was the guy that you guys said was Verlander a couple weeks ago?
Oh, Hunter
Or
Green.
Scherzer? Hunter
Hunter
Green.
Green. Yeah.
Sure, with him agreeing with that.
Yeah,
That's the
I
one.
kind of.
Josh, to be fair to Josh, he didn't bring that idea.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be called out for that one if it goes wrong.
I do see Verlander though in this
Even
game.
with the lefty righty thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. I mean, him being able to throw over 100 after 7 innings is pretty impressive. Having that high velocity, that's always something. Plus, he's a Tiger, so I think that's just where my mind went first. Um, I yeah, I can't really think of anyone. I mean, if you really want a lefty, I don't know. Well, not even Johnson.
I
Maybe
brought
Pedro. Maybe
Brandon
Pedro
brought up
Martinez.
Brandon brought up some names that came up. Obviously, lefties is where I go. Kershaw. Is he like Kershaw? He brought Cliff Lee was kind of came to my mind a little bit as well. Not quite Cole Hamels for me, and then Randy Johnson. Randy's just a freak, so it's hard for me to compare anybody to Randy. But the Cliff Lee one to me, and then Tyler. He was the one that said Johan Santana. That's who he reminds him of. So those were a few comparisons out there from people. I think that lefty thing for me it's hard for me to go righty at all.
Yeah, I get that. But like for
Can I
me,
throw a
it's
name out there for you?
the velocity also.
Logan, you
Yes,
can
let's hear
finish,
it.
buddy. I just want to throw it out there.
Throw it out there.
Dontrell Willis.
Oh, the D train. He throws harder than the D train. That's for sure.
Yeah, he throws harder, but it is and I don't remember
He kind of had that weird windup along the way. That's the one thing I remember with it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's hard to
but
compare
that's the
anyone to
kind of
Dontrell.
factor.
Sorry, you cut out there, Edwards. Keep going.
That was the kind of the factor I think of. I guess if I was going to try to peg him to one guy this early, that's kind of where I was going.
That's not a bad comparison. They kind of have that like the over the head kind of they're with it once in a while. They kind of come from over the even though Willis. Yeah, that's not a bad one. I think the Cliff Lee one is kind of my
That's
thing,
better.
but I also do see what Tyler was saying with Johan with that like he just has that movement that goes to that back foot. That's just crazy back, and he can locate heat. People forget Santana threw 99, 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Like he threw when he was winning those Cy Youngs, he threw hard. Some people think of him on the Mets, but he was as good as it got for about 3-4 years there in Major League Baseball. But just kind of a fun conversation. Is he the best guy in the league right now? Is he better than anybody? American League, National League, he the best pitcher?
I think I'd take Skeen still.
You would still take Skeens?
Yeah, and only because he's had more mess up games, I would call them. Like it's just been like, oh, I gave up 4 runs against the Cardinals, destroyed by the who was it? The Red Sox, the Dodgers, and this was like beginning of the season, but we haven't seen that with Paul Skeens yet. We haven't seen one bad. I can't think of one bad start from Paul Skeens.
Yeah, and who else been pretty good? Zach Wheeler continues to breathe, and then the other guy, Rondon. He like we were talking about similar guys to like now. Rondon's bounced back as a lefty as well. Blake Snell was a comparison they threw out. I don't know. I mean, he won 2 Cy Young, so I don't know. He's just not the first name that I think of when I see Skubal pitch. So, there's certain guys in Major League Baseball where I'll just watch the game because they're pitching. You said Skeens, Logan. Is Skubal on that list?
I mean, yeah, and I think him being on the Tigers makes it a lot easier to watch.
Why is that for you? Just because they're the Tigers and not like a big market team?
It's just that they're so good right now. They have so many great players, and Paul Skeens. I love Paul Skeens, but it's hard for him. It's hard for me to watch him when he's on the Pirates, who do absolutely nothing.
Know who's joined that list to me is Yamamoto. He looks every time he's on
He-
pitching, I want to watch him pitch too. So and
He
Strider's
is,
like that when he was on for the Braves.
Strider is funny because I love Strider when he pitches, but he's so infuriating to watch because he's so slow with his windup. It always drives me insane. I don't know why.
Well, thank God they have a pitch clock with him right now. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
right.
That's the thing.
Takes
So
20 seconds to get his windup through.
dude, there used to be this guy in the Yankees.
Yeah.
I forget his name, and he took forever. I remember me, Tyler, and my brother would be like, "We're never allowed to use this guy in video games because of how long the game would last too long because of that." So we're like, "That's not happening." What a performance, though. I mean, that's right now that highlights the first couple months in terms of a pitching performance from an ace. So I don't know the 5-5, the 5 to 10 games, and the high scoring games are always good, but when you have a legit pitcher like this, that's kind of how DeGrom was for me for those few years on the Mets. He always got hurt, but whenever he pitched, I was watching Garrett Cole. Same thing. There's just certain guys that you want to see throw, and this guy is high on the list. Maybe a little higher than Sonny Gray on the Cardinals right now, but I like that list right now. We want to go there with it. So Skubal there with it. Any final thoughts on Skubal at all, guys?
Phenomenal. Can't wait to see what his entire career ends up being.
I mean, he has a chance to win multiple Cy Youngs. So
3, maybe 4.
Yeah, he definitely has that chance with the stuff he's showing that he has, no doubt about it. Is there can the National League maintain this dominance right now over the American League? Is
Nope.
it? Do you think it's going to even out? Like, it just feels like when I keep doing my power rankings, I'm like, nope. There's still a National League team there. I don't know. What do you make of that? What do you make of that, Josh?
I think baseball's baseball. It'll all balance out in the wash. Maybe this year the NL can keep it up, but I don't think it's a long-term trend we're going to see. So one league has to be better than the other overall every year. Rarely do we see parity between the leagues in unison. I think this year the most parity we're seeing and what will last the longest will be the 2 central divisions. I think those 2 will have the most parity, and those will be the only ones that last this way. I think the West will work its way out where you only got 2 or 3 teams up there in both situations or both leagues, and I think the East is going to be the same, where the AL East is going to have probably 2 teams, and the NL East will probably have 3. So I think the NL and AL Centrals are the most parity and the most equal, and will probably stay the most equal the longest because I feel like they have the most youth to develop over the next 2 to 3 years.
What do you think, Logan? If you can hear me.
Maybe he's not moving.
What do you think, Logan? Any thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't know. I don't see the American League getting better. I
They do have the best record, I guess, right now with the Tigers, but that could change.
Tigers are gonna stay the same. Shit.
I hear you. I see you. You're live. Can you hear me, Logan? Nope. He went to he went somewhere else. Let's see if I can get him back. You there, Logan? You there?
I don't know what is wrong with my internet. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. I think the Central is going to be stupid in a little bit, and I think I think the East is kind of falling apart already. So I think the NL is going to be the best throughout, except when it comes to the All-Star game because it's the All-Star game.
This time it counts. I just think it's kind of for me. It's fascinating because when I get to the end of Memorial Day, that's one of the dates I look at the standings at the most. I mean, I'm always following it daily, but I'm always all right. Where do we have them? We're at Memorial Day. That's a good checkpoint for the first kind of basically quarter of the season. And there's probably the Tigers with the best record in the AL. That one feels a little unsustainable. But you look at the National League, and you have the Phillies, who are easily a World Series potential team. Mets, 34-22. The Braves, they're 25-29, but it still feels like they're better than some of these American League teams, like the Rangers or so on.
And they're getting healthier.
And they're getting healthier. We just saw what Acuna did this week. And then you got to go to the Central, and you have the Cubs, you have the Cardinals picking it up. I've always said the Brewers are going to win that division, so we'll see where they go. And then the Reds are, the Reds are the Reds. They'll probably be around that 500 mark. And always, but then
They'll
you go to
just
the
be
West.
disruptive.
They'll be disruptive. But then you go to the West, and you go Dodgers, Padres, Giants, and D-backs right now. But you look at the dominant teams, the teams where we put our money on. You would go Dodgers, Padres, Cubs, Phillies, Mets. So that's 5 teams where maybe in the American League you're like Yankees and I guess the Tigers because they have the best record right now. But Josh, like I don't think anybody here would be like that's a dominant team right now. Going and the West, the NL has like 5. I feel like 5 teams where we would be like, all right, I feel like those teams would be better than any team on the American League other than the Yankees. Most people would pick.
See, I disagree here.
What team
So
in the
I
American
think
League would you take then?
Seattle.
Over the Cubs?
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually a matchup I want to see because Seattle's pitching is so good. I want to see Seattle's pitching versus the Cubs offense. That's a matchup I want to see because that's one of the best pitching staffs in baseball versus arguably the best offense in baseball. After that series would be played, I'd be able to tell you definitively if I think Seattle's better than Chicago. But since I think pitching wins championships, I would lean on Seattle over the Cubs.
Aaron, Seattle always implodes every single year.
Yeah.
The one thing interesting is the Rangers.
I know, but one of these years they're going to get it done.
And then maybe this is the year. It's funny, Josh, on that comment, I was thinking the Rangers, I think, have the best pitching ERA right now, but they have like the worst hitting rate. It's like and they're 27-30. So that's like the one team in the NL where I'd be like, can they make a little push? But Logan, I'll ask you the same question I asked Josh. I think there's 5 dominant teams in the NL. Cubs, the 2 teams out west, Padres, Giants, and then your Mets, Phillies. To the Yankees in the American League, I don't think I would take the Yankees. Would be the only team I would take over those 5. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're like
right. Yeah.
Or would you take the Tigers over like Josh said, Seattle or something like that?
Would I take the Tigers over Seattle?
No,
yeah.
No, I mean, would you move like the Tigers ahead of any of those NL teams or Seattle?
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, yeah.
Right. I said that not very good.
Tigers. I would definitely put the Tigers over Padres and Giants. I would put. I don't know if I would put them over. I think I would have to put them over the Phillies.
The Tigers?
Yeah, I think I would have to, but just barely. Yankees, I think would be below the Phillies. Yeah.
So you would have the Tigers and Yankees in the top 5 right now, power rankings. If money's on the absolute line to win the World Series right now, would you put the Tigers ahead of any of those teams?
No.
Okay. So that's at the end of the day that you're kind of seeing it the same way I do in terms of that part of it. Where those is 5 dominant teams in the NL. Where the AL you have the Yankees and then Seattle's good, Houston's starting to play good, the Royals are good, the Twins are good, but it's not.
Cleveland's been good.
It just doesn't feel
they just all have. There's a lot of track records that, like after a certain date, they're like gonna fall apart.
Right. Cincinnati has one. Pittsburgh has one.
Definitely.
Chicago has ones. Typically.
I saw something interesting about. So, the Astros have only played 12 games against not under 500 teams. This whole year. The rest of
You just took my point. FYI.
Yeah. So the Astros haven't really been playing bad teams yet. They have a hard schedule right now, so I think they're really going to pick up just because they have easy schedule. Go ahead, Josh. Make that same point.
So no, I want to piggyback this. So we were talking about power rankings earlier, how they don't ever change. And Darren, this is where I was going to get critical of you. So this week, when I was prepping for the show, I was looking at everybody's records against teams that are 500 or better. If you really look at this, the Cardinals would be up with the Cubs, with the Yankees. That would actually put the Dodgers below the Giants, and Arizona and San Diego. If you're looking at strength of schedule wise, that would actually move the Yankees down quite a bit. The Phillies would basically stay where they're at. The Mets would stay where they're at. But if you really look at, I went after I did it all. I was surprised that I think the Cardinals were the sixth best record against teams over 500. So that
That
actually moved in my power rankings. I had them at like 10 in the power rankings. That had me move them up to like 7.
that stat to me, well, I understand what you're saying with it. I now with there's so much parity in it, it doesn't mean as much to me because I also think with baseball, you just don't know when the teams are playing well sometimes. Like they're gonna be bad. Like the
Yeah.
A's last year were a buzzsaw the last 2 months. They still finished like 25 games under 500. And so though I hear what you're saying, it's early on. And the Cardinals, I had them at 11. They were right there. I did have the
Oh,
Twins.
wow. Okay.
I had the Twins 10. I had them 11. I just didn't put them over the Twins when Brandon asked me on Monday this week. I mean, do the Cardinals fall in? Are they the sixth best team in the National League? I mean, are they better than the Giants? Are they better than the Braves? I don't think so.
I don't think so,
Really?
but if you use strength of schedule, I mean, yeah, strength of schedule, they're like third or fourth best team in the NL,
Do you think the
and they
Cardinals
have
can
been the
maintain
hottest
that?
team in the NL for the last month.
Do you guys think they can actually maintain that?
I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think one injury cripples the team, to be honest, and especially if it's a pitching injury.
They don't have the depth
Uh,
to hold on, you're saying?
So, no, here's the surprise. They actually may have the depth. We just don't know it because they have so much youthful pitching that we don't get to see. The depth may be there. We just have no idea. And on the offensive side, we've got plenty of depth. So I just don't know if the depth is there. I have to assume it is because the way they're not going out and signing big name pitchers, and they're really, really confident in the 5 young arms they have in AAA that should be up in the next 2 years. So I think the depth actually might be there.
It's an interesting topic for me, Logan, those first 2 months, that National League. I just find it fascinating as a baseball fan and watching this process over the years where there was years where the American League was heavily dominant over the National League.
Yeah.
And you have the Yankees, Red Sox, you have the A's of the early, you have them back then, and then you have the Angels or the Mariners consistently there. It was in the early 2000s for the Mariners, if our guy Daily Walkoff is watching. This is something. The next big date for me is July 4th now. So let me see where let me see where we're
I
at.
think it's
July
the
4th.
next big date for us all, Darren.
God bless
don't-
America, Logan. That's where we're going there. Every holiday that has a United States background, I go with it. So
Hey, it's 249 this year.
Labor Day then. No, it's just a big one, and then I usually go like the trade deadline after that, and then so that's kind of how my brain works through the baseball season in terms of where I look at the standings with it. So I don't know. We'll see where they're at with it. Your Nationals, I thought they were going to make a little push, and your Angels, and then the Angels now caught fire again. So yeah, those are your teams at the bottom with it. So anyways, that dominance there with it. What do you guys make of the standings? We kind of just look at them a little bit, like not necessarily standings, but any other teams you wanted to talk about, Logan, at all? Like anybody else catching your attention there?
I mean, I've called the D-backs dead. I've called the Orioles dead. I've called.
How can the D-backs be dead at 27 and 29?
I just don't have faith in them. Their bullpen is horrible, and I think I'm going to call the Braves dead.
Confirmed where I already was last week.
Go ahead.
That's a stretch.
I think I would call the Braves dead just because they just got Strider and Acuna back, but they're 10 back on the Phillies. I don't know where they're at in the wild card, but they're 25 and 29, which means they are 5.5 back of the wild card, which they need 3 wild card spots. So it's not going to be horrible, but I don't know. I haven't liked the Braves this year. They've kind of been lackluster. Ozzy Albies is a free agent after this year. They need a shortstop. They need Austin Riley kind of seems streaky in a sense.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really sure, but there's something wrong with that team, and they don't have any pitching aside from Strider. And Sale's doing really well. I would.
Sale's been fine. Yeah, Sale's been good.
Sale's been fine, but there's not really been anyone who's just been, oh my gosh, lights out. We love him. Schwellenbach has been okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it for me.
Are the Brewers making a run? Come on, Brewers. Take a little
No.
run. They're over 500
Not a
now.
chance.
All right.
Brewers are dead too. They just don't know it.
No. The Brewers aren't dead yet because of the youth they have on the offense. But if they don't get the pitching figured out by the middle of June,
not
I
dead.
will agree with Logan.
They're
They'll
dead.
be dead.
Not dead, Logan.
They're trading at the deadline.
Aaron, are your Knicks dead? I see they're up 17. Are you watching us have the Knicks?
Oh, yeah. Hey, hold on.
Oh, he's on
The
a Knicks.
Knicks
That's
are
right. He's
dead.
rocking.
The Knicks are dead.
Knicks, I always
The
forget.
Pacers
Aaron's
are
rocking.
going to the NBA Finals.
Oh, you can't even name one Pacer.
Are you serious?
John Smith.
Stockholm, Tyrese Halliburton.
They're there.
You've just heard your friends
Aaron,
talk about him.
No, I watched a couple games against the Knicks.
Aaron, I'm sorry, you're a Rockets fan. So they're not dead. So National League, the standings. Let's see where they're at here soon in that part of it. I'm curious what the next team. It's gone. I feel like Logan, the last 4 weeks, especially maybe 3. There's been these weird winning streaks and losing streaks. I mean, the Twins went on 11, 12, maybe 13. And then you have the Angels went on an 8 or something like that. And then now they've lost 5 in a row. The Phillies won 10 in a row or 9 in a row. A's lost 11 in a row. There was these huge swings in losing and winning streaks over the last couple of weeks. I was like, holy crap. It was changing the standings quite a bit here. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of the year here. The Cubs have kind of done that a few times. Your Cardinals have done that a few times. So yeah, it's kind of an odd deal here. The ups and downs so far, these winning streaks. They're not usually always 8 games, 9 games, 10. That's not common a whole year. So I found that kind of.
Hey fellas, I'm gonna let you go. I think we're getting close to needing a restroom break and everything. So you guys have a great rest of the show. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Go Pacers.
I'm not doing that.
Go Pacers. All right, Josh. Appreciate you joining, man.
You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week. All right, we'll take you home
What
here
a
with the
voice.
Josh. What a trooper! What a trooper there with his wife. So you better get off that cell phone right now. I'm just kidding. Right now with it. So Logan, yeah, that's kind of where I see the standings at with just kind of, I don't know, just where it's at with it. Anything else you want to hit standings wise? In around baseball, the Giants 6 games over 500. They've started to kind of come back to earth, though it feels a little bit. But maybe that's they played the Tigers, so I don't know.
Let me ask you, why do you like the Diamondbacks so much?
I think I'm an over the top Corbin Carroll fan, and I like Ketel Marte, and I like those. I love those combination of hitters that they have with those two guys. I just think they're as deadly a combo as there is in Major League Baseball. You might not sound Goldschmidt, maybe or Judge, but it's pretty darn good. Those two guys, and they did sign Corbin Burns. At some point, is that pitching going to pick up a little bit enough to carry the offense? But you do have a real question, and that is the bullpen. They have to severely address that.
They are horrifying.
And part of it is today the Dodgers, they end up trading for Diaz, all that stuff. Maybe those are moves they have to start making to be a serious contender in that. So on that note, let me get to Peter time. Diamond Notes was that. I thought that is interesting that they get Diaz, who was the All-Star last year, and I know he had that drop off at the end of the season. It's a good Dodgers move. I don't know. It's just a move that I guess the rich get not maybe necessarily richer, but man, you can take chances on guys like that when you're in the position they are, and not every you know what I mean. To me, that's a good trade right there. As well, Blanco I have going down for he chooses to have surgery. Tommy John there, he's out. Shout out Susie there with the Angels. They DFA Tim Anderson. Just kind of found that interesting just because it hits that Field of Dreams home run. He was on the top of the world a few years back, and then he gets in that fight with, was it Ramirez, gets kind of knocked out there. And I feel like ever since then, there's just been this, he got something maybe ahead of himself. And then as St. Louis Sports brought up earlier in the comments, yes, Trout, it will be activated tomorrow from the IL. So I didn't add, I guess, Major League Baseball. So kind of basically doing a WNBA thing with the softball situation as well as there. They're going to kind of help fund that. Anything from the week or anything?
For a certain commissioner.
Yes, there, Mr. Manford. I do want to dive into that too. We could talk about that. You think Manfred as well? He's been on he also brought up that he saw. That was an interesting thing I saw too. What was it? It said Rose, restating Rose and Jackson was overdue. Kind of a BS statement though. From me, I read that though, Logan. That's not. Unless he's just be like, yeah, there's these legal idiots for 8 years that wouldn't let me do it. I don't know. Like, unless he's not telling me, I'm sure there's some truth there at the end, maybe with it. But like, I don't know. I get you on that. But what do you think, Diamond Notes here?
Blanco. I mean, that's a blow for the Astros as we talk about.
Playing better.
Yeah. That's gonna be an issue for them because he was doing really well for them. I believe. I mean,
no, he was.
I think. And then the Tim Anderson. It's just sad. I really liked him a couple years ago, and then he just kind of fell off, and I really don't know how to.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Like there's certain players where like you're like, this guy's gonna be a solid player. He just literally dropped off the face of the earth, and like. I kind of put it back to him getting that Field of Dreams homer. He kind of got a little ahead of himself verbally, I thought, with some stuff. And then, like, not in a terrible way, but you just kind of start to put bad mojo out there a little bit. And then he gets the knockout punch there from Ramirez, or he stumbles back. And that's got to be a little bit of an ego blow. And then obviously his play on the field just diminished so quickly. It really, you know what I mean? It doesn't happen out. It went away so fast.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was, I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess I don't think that Ramirez, punching him really did anything, but
shouldn't.
Yeah,
but it just mean like when I look at his timeline, I guess it's just like those are like things that add up to me. Like that's what I mean. It's just like you kind of watch it and you're like, oh, that was kind of a bad thing. Yeah.
I wonder if he's just one of those guys. Like he was such a menace. As a hitter when the team was like really good, and then when they all just because the White Sox, I mean, they fell off hard. Like they went from best team, World Series champions next year, 2022, to like bottom of the rubble. And so I'm curious if just having other good guys around him, Luis Robert. I can't even remember some of those other Abreu, some of those other guys just around him.
I think they had Rondon too, right? They had Rondon, wasn't he? Yeah, he was their main guy. Yeah,
Rodon. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think having all that, buffer around him, like you can't pitch around Tim Anderson because if you do, then you're gonna have to face Abreu, Robert. And I wonder if you put him on a good team, like let's say that he goes to the Yankees and he has a guy behind him like Judge and Goldie. I wonder if that changes his mentality at all because he's been on the White Sox, the Marlins, and the Angels, and they have not been good. So I'm curious if it's just like you're not getting any good at bats, and you're just swinging at what you can.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking at his stats right now, and so basically, he starts in 2016. He's 7th in Rookie of the Year, and solid seasons. Not great, 257, 240 batting average. In 17-18, but then he goes to 19, leads the league in hitting, 335. 2020, best year, but that was the shortest year. That was the COVID year. He was 7th in MVP voting there, and then he was back-to-back All-Star. And then 2023 comes and just flat on his face, and now he's DFA'd. So be interesting what his career ends up with that. But just one of those guys I think of like, wow. I mean, you talk about a drop off fast. The Angels do get Trout back. They're not in a position necessarily to make the playoffs, but they haven't put themselves completely out of one either. So Trout kind of gets a little life. His team, I would say, held pat without him. You know what I mean? Like I mean, not the best. They lost 5 in a row, but he's been on teams where they would have been even worse than that right now. So they get back a little bit. Let's see if they make a little magic there. And then again, I like the Diaz pickup for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's it's so weird that the Diaz goes to the Dodgers. I mean, you look at his his season so far, and it wasn't good at all. So that's kind of interesting to me. Alexis Diaz going to Dodgers. I mean, he was just let's see, he had a 12 ERA in 6 games, so he wasn't. He's kind of lost whatever you know
He's lost
good.
his stuff.
Yeah, he's lost his stuff. So I'm curious if the Dodgers will be able to change him up. Of course, they fixed Kopech, so I imagine Alexis Diaz could be the next best thing now.
Again, it's just a chance for them as a rich team to take a chance on a low budget guy, right? That
Yeah.
has that potential. So it's like,
They
why
they
not?
hardly traded anyone. So
No,
I will say it's kind of feeling like they're putting a Band-Aid on um a wound that's about to bust. I know that the analogy kind of fell apart right there, um, but I like I saw, what was it, 49.5% of the game. Wait, hold on. 45. The Dodgers bullpen has pitched 49.5% of all the games, all the innings this year.
that might catch up to him.
And I think trying to add Alexis Diaz to the bullpen is just going to try to put a fresh arm, but they need starters right now.
They need
And
Snell back.
They need Snell. They need Glass now. They need all these guys that they paid money for, and they're not getting. And I understand, like, it's hard to trade for a starter when you have all these guys coming, but you got to get somebody.
No, they got to make a decision here. They got to do something.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's gonna get bad really quick. And I get that they're the Dodgers and their lineup is awesome, but pitching is very important, and it doesn't matter how well your offense is if you can't get an out.
No, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I think if that bullpen is taxed, and especially in October, I mean,
yeah,
you really need that bullpen in October. You need your starting in October, and so I mean they're going to get bounced first round if they don't figure this out.
No, they will. I just want to point out Ohtani does lead the Major League 20 home runs. This guy's a freak.
Yeah,
he's right there with it. One of the greatest freaks of all time. Right? Like, this guy's just a beast. All right, daily walk off here with it, Logan. Let's go to the Cardinals here with it. Here's the categories for this week. 2000 to 2020 top 5 starting pitching by right-handed pitchers. 2000 to 2020 top 5 saves by right-handed pitchers. 2000 to 2020 top 5 pitching by left-handed, and then the saves top 5 by left-handed pitchers. 2000. This is kind of right up your alley, I feel like, in some areas. I feel like we can, right away. I feel like I can move Mulder to probably the pitching side of here. There, and I can move Lynn to the right side. Anybody else you're seeing? Andrew Miller. That's a relief pitcher, right?
Yeah, he's going to be left-handed saves.
So we got to get Wainwright out of there.
Wainwright is going to be right-handed strikeouts.
All right, so over Jason Christensen, who I've never heard of. How about Jeff?
Yeah.
How about Jeff Fasaro?
Oh,
Carlos Martinez. He was a right-handed pitcher.
Carlos Martinez is going to be
probably saves.
No, he's going to be strikeouts.
All right, so put him strike. Isringhausen's got to be saves, right?
Yeah, he's right-handed saves.
So I think the closing.
All
right.
I want to say Kevin Seagrist is going to be left-handed saves. Ryan Franklin. No, Tyler Lyons.
And then how about, I feel like, wouldn't Adam Wainwright maybe be in the saves?
No.
So who would be there, Jason Christensen or Carlos Martinez? Because Wainwright was a closer, obviously, for a little bit.
I'm trying to figure out Tyler Lyons because he doesn't seem like I don't think he was a right or a left-hander.
Jeff Facero for me too. Seems like he might be a right-handed pitcher. That would be my other one there.
I'm drawing a blank.
Let's try it.
I think Tyler Lyons is wrong, but
really Ryan Franklin. He was a right-handed pitcher. Is that where Ryan was?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought that was Isringhausen. I was like, how did I get Isringhausen wrong?
No, you didn't get it. You didn't get him around with it. All right, there you go.
There.
You got the Cardinals with it. All right, let me
Wait,
try
so let me see that real quick.
Yeah.
2000 strikeouts at left-hander. Kevin Segrist. Of course, this isn't like all-time Cardinals. This is just in the
out of those names.
out of those names, and that always gets me.
Yep.
Because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Okay.
Let me try my
Ooh.
A's here real quick. So I got, let's go. Tim Hudson. He's got to be in there for obviously strikeouts.
Where's he who shall not be named?
Rich Harden's in there. Who else?
He's not on here.
Who? No, I'm going Cahill. Let me see how fast we can do this. Mania, strikeouts. Mulder's got to be in there. Brett Anderson's got to be in there. Sean Doolittle saves. Breslow, Embry. I'm going to go right there. Let's see if I got it. Bing. Money in the bank. Yep. Let's go. You're talking about my era, people. That's where that was my time. 2020. That was it.
Let's see. Craig Breslow, the
GM.
storied Red Sox.
Keep Devers. Let's go.
GM. Yeah,
work it out,
Devers.
baby. Have some communication skills. He's been
man.
He played so good after that, too.
I forgot
Right?
Breslow was a. Oh,
he
sorry.
He was
Yeah, but Devers he's amazing. He's hit like 5 walk-offs, it seems like, since that whole ordeal.
I know.
He's like, you guys try to trade me. I dare you.
I know Tyler. Me and
Tyler
are the same thing. It's like, why would you trade that guy? That makes no sense. Like, it doesn't make it easy.
It's so weird. Like, you can't, but it's almost like you probably should at a certain point. Like, this
not
is
now,
your
though.
Second,
not
right?
now.
Yeah, no, but it's like his second problem in as many months, and it's like, oh, you really shouldn't trade him. He's worth it, but man, he makes it really hard to love him sometimes.
Might not. Logan, I feel like this trivia I have for you, I feel like you should be able to get it. Let's see where you're at with it. So MLB Trivia, Darren Breyer edition. Thank you, Walkoff, as always, for your stuff there. Appreciate your support as well with our show. You guys do a great job. I massively, as I always, when I said to you on air, the grind you guys have to put that game out every day. I can't even imagine having to get all those days, put it in those categories, and all that work that it takes. Especially when I do a podcast once a week, and I'm like, my God, at times. So, mad respect for you guys doing that stuff there. All right, hit number 1. I played for the Blue Jays, Rays, Padres, Braves, Cubs, and Dodgers. Started my career in 1986 as a position player.
Oh, position player. I was about to throw one out. If it was pitcher. Blue Jays, Rays, Padres, Braves, Cubs, and Dodgers. Starting my career off as a position. Oh, man, you're getting me. 80s is a hard one. 80s and 90s.
You said just give you a uniform, so I knew you were coming on. So I was like, I'm going to give you just that, not make it simple for you. Kind of test the knowledge of Mr. Stone here. Want to hit number 2?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hit 493 home runs. I had 2,490 hits. I finished top 10 in MVP voting 6 different times. So really close to 500. That's as close as you could get. That's like A-Rod 696 to 700. Calling it quits. 7 away from 500 is what this man.
Mo Vaughn. No, not Twins.
Great guess. Not Uncle Mo. How did Uncle Mo win an MVP in 95? That one always surprised me. Look at Albert Bell's stats. That's crazy.
Oh, I would have been so happy if that was it.
If it was Mo Vaughn, not Mo.
Let's see.
I'm not even sure if the next hint will help you now. I might have to add an extra one to help you if you don't get it on that.
I can't believe I'm not getting this. Home runs typically get me. Or like, oh yeah, 493. That's.
I mean, but look at the player too, though. Top 10 in MVP voting 6. That's a good player. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a player.
Oh man, what were the teams again? And then we can move on to 3.
Blue Jays.
I played for the Blue Jays, Rays.
Aaron, where are you at? Come on, Aaron.
So it's the Blue Jays and the Rays that kill me, and then the Padres.
Let's see. The Blue Jays would be the biggest hint for me.
Yeah, I thought it would be a Blue Jays player.
No, it's not necessarily a Blue Jays player, but he was good on the Blue Jays. He was good on the Blue Jays for sure. Let me give you hit number 3 here. Let me give
Carter?
It's not. It's not Uncle Joe. I won a World Series in 1995, and I was a 5-time All-Star. So what team won in 95? Do I need to help you with that?
The Yankee?
It was not the Yankees.
Oh, wait. No, because, yeah.
It was the Braves.
Braves.
over the Indians in 1995.
Okay, well, it's not David Justice because he was in Oakland Athletic, and I only know that because of the greatest movie
That's
of all time,
Moneyball.
where he single-handedly won that whole division, right?
Yeah, he basically did himself. He was such a great
Yeah,
player.
it's because he led that team.
That's funny.
Okay, so Braves position players first.
No,
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to give it to me. I think
his nickname was the Crime Dog. He's
No.
famous for doing a Little League commercial where he tips his hat. He wears a blue hat. The man is Fred McGriff. Is the answer? Fred McGriff.
Oh, you stupid idiot!
Fred, you just said it. Played first base. Fred McGriff is your answer. The Crime Dog.
Oh my gosh,
Great swing. One of the best at first base.
he was a Padre.
He went from the Blue Jays, got traded to the Padres, then got traded to the Braves. Then ended up with the Dodgers, Cubs there, or the Rays, obviously, and then signed with the Dodgers, Cubs late. The Rays was famous for him, Canseco, Castillo, and somebody else that they signed, but they were kind of old timers. So yeah, Fred McGriff. I'm proud of that one, Logan. They got you on that one. I like that one. They got you on that one. So
I knew Fred McGriff would get me.
You know who he is.
Yeah, and he just got into the Hall.
Yeah, he did. He did get it
gosh.
all. Well, that's why the home runs, 493. It threw you off probably. Didn't know where that was at.
You're killing me. Oh, that hurts. That hurts my heart.
Let's kill you a little more. Let's kill you a little
If I needed to move off of Blue Jays and Padres and Rays.
That's why I was like, I'll give him the teams. It's gonna make it hard on him, but he did it. So all right, Joe Buck time flash.
What a ride! The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
All right, it's flashback time. The Braves, 1993. We're gonna take you to Braves on TBS. The Reds versus the Braves. I want you to listen through this. This is an interesting one. I've never seen this one before. So on a baseball field. So we'll take you back 1983. Deion Sanders. Yep, he's at bat right now. You do see him. Tim Belcher. If anybody's been around for a while, he's the pitcher for the Reds. Look at those unis. Got to love it. Riverfront. Here we go. If I can get it up. Here we go. Yep, we got it ready to go. Here we go.
May 26 in Cincinnati. The Reds' Tim Belcher hits Deion Sanders with a pitch and then comes to the plate. Would there be payback from reliever Marvin Freeman? No. And with that, Terry Pendleton, the Braves' unofficial team captain, stormed off the field, reflecting the frustration of a team not living up to its preseason billing.
I think Terry felt like that some of our hitters weren't being protected, and usually in a case like that, it's always up front what the pitcher was supposed to do.
Well, I've never seen that before, and hopefully that'll never happen again. I think Terry regrets doing it, and it's one of those things. Players can snap every once in a while, and it was Terry's turn.
May 20.
Logan, when I saw that video, I was like, oh, that's as flashback as it gets. That was so good. Like, could you imagine a guy doing that nowadays, and like online thing, like just leaving it's just kind of crazy to think about. So I don't know. The Braves were like, I should have hit him. Everybody's and like,
so he got mad that they didn't hit in retaliatory. That's awesome. Oh my god!
I mean, that's a great flashback. I was like, that's a money in the bank one right there. That is awesome.
I mean, that's the type of thing Josh would do, and he would just
be like, I love it.
He'd be like, I can't believe you guys don't care about your team, and oh man, he would totally do that. But yeah, that's such a weird thing to do, but it's kind of awesome that you'd be like, hey, we gotta retaliate. Of course, you don't really need to do that today in baseball.
No.
What would be a walk off, like something that's so offensive that you would just have to walk off?
Well, maybe Dallas Braden, don't walk on his mouth. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe like, I would think that would be probably the highest thing, or somebody not giving effort somewhere that I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like, I got one that's in the bank for a couple weeks ago. I'll give you a hint. Involves the Rays. But it was one of those where there was a player he got in the guy's face because of something I would have been like pissed about. So I mean, you might know the one I'm talking about, but I just think there's situations where that would be the case but I think hitting somebody when you're not defending your players,
right,
and you're putting no effort. But again, at the end of the day, it still affects Terry Pendleton. He's the one that left the field. So it's like,
I think for me, it would be if we're down by 10 and then a position player goes and starts pitching, that's when I would walk off. I'd be like, no, we don't care. So I'm going to go take a shower now.
That's some of our greatest moments. No, I'm just kidding. You got to be, well, I'm glad you could join us tonight, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
I wish we might have to start moving to Wednesdays once in a while here. So if you're open on a Wednesday once in a while, I'll always throw you the link. As you know, I love our little conversations with the baseball here. And as now we're starting to get to the summer months here, Logan, this is where we kind of start to figure some things out. So all the off-season talk we had, all that. I'm working on a thing I'm going to post where we all gave our takes on the top 10 of our positions. And so I'm going to see where we're at here come July. So I'm working on something like that. Just to have some fun with this. And some of us have done great. Some of us have other positions.
Are you saying that I'm winning so far?
Tyler thinks he's winning, and I go, you don't even remember what you picked. So I don't even know what.
he is not eligible to win. He had the Braves winning 106 games, and that's unforgivable.
They only need to lose 20 more. No,
he's the reason why they lost. They're losing.
I like it. Any reason for me to blame Tyler for that stuff, I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, right.
So. But yeah, no, you know that. I always invited here with it. So hopefully you can join us a few times here throughout the summer as baseball kind of picks up. Josh, safe trip to Indiana. What a state. What a state.
Indiana.
What a Tyrese Halliburton. What a state. Caitlin Clark.
He's all this
Pat McAfee. What do we got here?
He's all of a sudden the biggest Pacers fan ever.
I know.
Going back to Indiana.
I saw that. That was great with it. Not very many baseball games today, just to let people know. Not very many on the day as well. Yeah, the Rays are beating the Astros 8-3. Blue Jays crushed the A's 12-0. Mariners Nationals in the fifth inning tied at 0. Good game there. Phillies 5-4. Braves 9-3 in their doubleheader. They split that. So
Blue Jays trade Gossman. Let's go.
After you sign that big contract with them, we'll see where they go with it. But I kind of agree with that. Logan, let's join us maybe that week or 2 weeks, and I want to start getting into trade stuff with you as we're going to get about a month away from the deadline. Believe it or not, we're that close to it. You're bread and butter with that.
My bread and butter.
There we go.
My happy times.
Your happy time. All right, man. You have a good week, all right?
You too. Bye.
Thanks for joining Seventh Inning Stretch. Peace.